jump into the next one, here's a quick reminder for all of you mobile gamers out there. The ESL Mobile Open is just around the corner, so head over to Twitter right now and get all of those details. Tell your friends, build a team, and earn a spot in the finals.
Feel the lights, see the stage, hear the vibe. Pumped up to get ready for the fight. Big dreams, one chance, be the star. I'm the winner coming out of the dark.
Step out as a motivator. Let them know that the wait's up. That's how we know when we level up. Ay, that's how we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up.
Back against the wall, still I'm standing tall. Know about the ball, I got my fan with me. That's how we know when we level up. Yeah, that's how we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. It's time, get up.
Hey yo guys, what's up? Welcome back to the ESL Mobile Open. This is the Asphalt 9 Open Finals, so I hope you guys are revved up and ready for some fast-paced action. My name is Victor Cax, joining me here is Uwe the Magical, so welcome to the races, as I like to say.
This is going to be very interesting, seeing the participants, the top 4 for iOS and top 4 for Android. We do have a couple clubs that has entered into the Asia Pacific region itself. It's going to be interesting. One of the teams is going to be RPM, quite well known in the North America and some part of the EU side, but they have penetrated into Asia and looking what can they bring into it. But talking about Asphalt 9, we have seen how it evolved from the first Asphalt, from the mobile, and up to now. It's so different, it's so complex. It has to be very technical for all the players to even go up against each other.
Yeah, there's a lot of finesse, there's a lot of like hidden tricks and techniques that you need to master in order to be very, very fast in this game. But as I've learned from some of the best, usually it's all about maintaining your speed and momentum. These are your qualified players here, ladies and gentlemen. We've got two platforms we separated out. So we've got the Android side here. We've got RPM Aeonian, IDZ, KRL Myongapsu, and Happy Sisyphe. So representing the iOS side for Asia, we've got R, we've got Okapika, aka RedZone.exe, and we've got Lemon Tea, and finally Cheetah. So these guys are going to be playing in a single illumination format. So it's pretty much going to be one single life for everyone as they come down towards the brackets. So the winners, of course, will be going towards the grand finals, and the losers of the semifinals will end up having to play the third and fourth placers. So that makes up the matches. This is going to be the lineup here for the Android side. We got RPM Aeonian going up against IDZ in the first semifinals. And of course, we've got KRL Myongapsu up against Happy Sisyphe for the second semifinals. So coming to you with the Magical, maybe you can tell us a little bit about the iOS side.
Yep, definitely from the iOS side, we do have going up against Red Zone for the first semi-final, and the second semi-final will be Lemon Tea going up against Cheetah. This is going to be really interesting to see this region's going to play it out, especially on the iOS. It has the same format. Winners move on to the grand finals, losers they drop down and fight for a podium placement for the third place, and the loser of that will be getting the fourth place. But this is going to be very interesting because they can't have any mishap. They can't make any small mistakes, because the small mistakes alone is going to punish them really, really hard, and trying to recover itself is just another thing to think about.
Oh yeah, recovery is going to be virtually impossible if your opponent is going to be able to run their lines absolutely perfectly. Nevertheless, these are going to be the matches we're going to be watching all throughout today, and naturally, after the first two semifinals, it was going to be straight to the third, fourth placer, and then finally to the grand finals. So pretty much by the end of today, we're going to be able to find our fastest drivers for both Android and iOS, and pretty much the battlegrounds for both of these guys will be the same. They're going to be running the same three tracks, or rather for same three tracks for the semifinals, same three tracks for the third, fourth placers, and the same five for the grand finals. So rest assured, these guys are pretty much going to have the same level of challenge up against each other, and no less, they will also have the same prize pool that they're fighting for here. A total of 1,070 US dollars up for grabs here for those who are tenacious enough. In fact, platforms are pretty much the same, really. First place going home with 300 USD, second place going home with 100, third place going home with 80, fourth place with 55. So naturally, the faster you are, the more you're going to be able to earn, isn't it?
Yep, definitely. And talking about being fast, I've seen some of the competition where the early hits, the early boost itself, going into the first placing, try to get that lead and try to pull away from your opponent itself. It's the early lead strats lead into the win. For certain cases we have seen in the NA where they started in the early phase, they maintain that, no mistakes being made in the late phase, and definitely they are able to grab onto the first placing itself. But looking at some of the comebacks itself, looking at how people recover, how they keep the racing lines itself, which route they are going to take, when are they going to pop their nitro and get the shockwave itself, it's going to be really, really interesting to see if any of this is going to happen for any teams, that any players that is lacking from the second place, trying to get up and catch up with the first placing. And definitely it's going to be really, really interesting. And I think we want to see a bit of clashes between bumper to bumper, try to see some heat going on between the players itself.
I can tell you for sure that, trying to play the catch-up game is certainly way, way harder than trying to maintain the lead. So certainly if that is ever going to happen with our participants here, well, fair play, especially if they manage to clutch it in the end. I hate to be the one who's going to struggle all the way to get to that finish line only to finish in second place. I mean, in any case, for these guys though, it's going to be a battle of wits. It's going to be a battle of who has committed more to the practice, I should say, because the tracks are pretty much going to be the same all throughout. It's pretty much a matter of what kind of lines you're going to choose and how well you're able to finesse it, how little time you actually lose going through some of the sections, and applying the tricks and the tricks of the trade, really exploiting the physics as well as using shortcuts in order to try to improve and minimize your time. So lots and lots of things, you'd be really surprised, especially given how simplistic the game appears at first glance, isn't it?
Yep, totally agree. When the first time I pick it up, it looks so simple. It's like just drive and get to point A to point B. But the moment you start to learn the tricks, you learn the 360, the barrel rolls, you learn when to time your boost itself, time the nitro stuff, and get the best timing. And talking about the timing itself, one split second can make a big difference. One small bumps will lose you a couple of lead, but we are jumping in RP and Neon going up against IDZ.
Yeah, so we can see the timings between the two of them. We've got ghosting mode on, so both drivers would not be able to interrupt each other's lines. Pretty much going to be a battle who's going to be able to stay faster. And right now, I'll tell you what, IDZ is doing a heck of a job right now, staying in front, and timing his jumps really right, nailing the shockwaves. But look at that, Aeonian is already catching up. He's already toe-to-toe right now with IDZ, and he's trying to actually overtake him, and actually does, taking the inside line. Well done, on there, Ionian?
Yeah, taking that risk without knowing when to pop the nitro and get the shockwave. So gets him the lead, and right now is IDZ trying to go for the catch-up game. It is going to be really hard because they are making a bit of difference. Looking at how Heron playing it out, he is keeping it clean. There's no mistake coming in. Barrel roll after barrel roll. Gets onto the second lap, still holding on. Catch-up game from IDZ, trying to inch his way back into the first place.
Yeah, there's not going to be much time he can make out in this sector, unfortunately, though. But never mind. By the time he gets to the bridges, hopefully a few flat spins here and there will be able to get him a few extra points, maybe. But really, Aeonian right now is on a roll. I mean, he's nailing his jumps very well, using the wall rides in order to minimize the amount of movement and the amount of speed that he actually loses through some of these corners. And Aeonian actually missed the shockwave that time. He does get the shockwave this round around as we come towards the bridge area. And it's quite important around here to make sure that you time your jumps right. You have to make sure you maintain a good rhythm here. But it seems that Aeonian is taking the very straightforward path there in order to maintain maximum speed through the sector.
Yeah, RPM in Aeonian is just from the start to the end. A clean racing, just a bit of bumps towards the end. I think we are at the last stretch. Aeonian just keep on with his momentum, and then that's it. IDZ drops the first ball to the side. He had a slight advantage for the first half in the first lap itself, but Aaron just clutch it, make that turn, keep the lines clean, and he had the lead, and he kept on holding onto the lead. IDZ had no chance trying to even catch up at all.
Yeah, I think like Aeonian basically had a little bit of a slow start. He conceded a bit of a lead there to IDZ, so by the time Aeonian was able to get the things together and really warm himself up, and by that point he really was unstoppable. Caught up to IDZ, we took the lead, then pretty much ran perfect for the subsequent laps, and pretty much showing us that that's pretty much the way it's going to be done. You know, you just got to be clean, you've got to be precise, and you've got to be able to be fast, really.
Yeah, the need for speed indeed. Definitely seeing how they pop the shockwaves out. We do see a bit of mishap, maybe, as I say, warming up. The first game of the day and the first lap itself was a bit of bumpy ride, but seeing how it's being played out, I think a lot has to be go into the brains of all the players, where they have to choose the most optimum line. They have to choose where are they going for and how are they going to approach this, and as well the speed itself, because if they go on way too fast, they might crash onto the side rail. They might lose a bit of speed, and that might be the gap and the opportunity and window for other players to catch up. And it's going to be really down to the technique and on how they're going to approach this. It's going to be really important.
Yeah, not just about technique though, because sometimes the ideal line on this some of these tracks actually tends to be much riskier, you know, than the alternative line. So we also tend to have situations where some drivers would just rather take the alternate route, even though it may be slightly slower. They know that at least it will be more consistent. You know, you'll avoid taking the risk of the other line. So that's something drivers here will also have to consider. You know, do they want to take the slightly riskier line there in the hopes to maybe gain a few tens, maybe more, or do you rather just play it safe, just try to battle more about finesse, you know, battle more about how much more extra bit of time can you gain through some of these sectors. So really there's a lot of tactics, a lot of strategy involved really in a battle like this. So you might be fooled to think that this is actually just a game of like button mashing, really, where there's only two buttons, nitro or drift.
Yeah, definitely agree. But so far, we've seen how RPM, Union, and IDZ, they've been keeping the same route. There's no alternative yet. Maybe do see something being pull out, it's going to be interesting if they're going to pull out the alternative lane as you were talking about, keeping it again. We do see IDZ this time on the second place. RPM Aeonian, it is on the lead.
Yeah, right off the bat, he's taking no prisoners right now. Aeonian laning those, nailing those lanes, actually, is to say. I mean, Aeonian is pulling it so smooth right now, even my tongue can't keep up with this. So, well, I think right now he's pretty much fully charged, fully ready, and pretty much going to be dominating this whole run here. I mean, look at that lead right now. I think Zed can barely even see Aeonian over the horizon right about now.
Yeah, IDZ trying to hold on, trying to close the gap, but oh no! That small mistake might cost him a bit more. It is so hard to catch up because one mistake will cost you a lot, but still, there is the second lap. IDZ still have a chance, but all those small minimal correction, it is forcing him. No.
Oh no, that's got to be a reset there for IDZ. Very, very heartbreaking. That means that Aeonian, you know, pretty much you can take it easy right about now, because I doubt there's going to be any way IDZ will be able to make up the time, pretty much, like, unless Aeonian makes some major mistakes somewhere around this track. But looking at the way he's been driving at this point now, I mean, there's no way he's going to be dropping this. The ball pretty much is in his hands and he is not letting it go.
Yeah, Aeonian just gonna have a clean one, just keeping it safe. Oh, saving at the last second. Almost, but will be able to keep the lead, will keep the distance, and at the same time, feel like Aeonian has this in the back as he crosses the finish line.
Oh, doing it in style as well, though. But fair play to him, though. I mean, again, you know, this is a game about finesse, about precision, and about consistency as these tournaments play out. You know, you have to really be able to nail your line live. And I know sometimes, you know, typically for most time attack players, they always just go ahead and reset over and over again. So sometimes, you know, to get that perfect run, it can be 1 of 100. But here in a one-on-one tournament, you know, that 100% perfect run, if you can nail it every single time you go out live here, pretty much you're going to be unbeatable.
Yep, definitely keeping that line, keeping the consistency as you were talking about, having the consistency, knowing when to tap the break itself, go for the drift, tap for the skills for 360, build up the nitro itself, when to pop the nitro is also quite important, because if you're popping it at a very weird angle or at the corner itself, you're basically gonna hit the wall and you lose a bit of the efficiency itself. But looking at how RPM Aeonian performing on the second race itself was just pure perfection. There's no mistakes coming in from Aeonian himself, except the final finishing just make it flashy itself. But a lot of players, they have to be careful when to take the risk, when to take the alternative from, and when to keep it safe, keep it in line for them, and keep the lead in favor for them.
Yeah. And I suppose that with Aeonian already taking 2 races in a row here, pretty much he'll be going through to the grand finals here. So congrats to him and fair play. I mean, he's been very, very dominant, you know, in the Android sector. I mean, pretty much has been keeping things, keeping a really, really strong, consistent times, you know, throughout the time attack weekends. So very, very well done to him. And hopefully we'll see whether or not the next contestants in the next semifinals will pose a threat to our friend here.
Yep, definitely agree. RPM Aeonian, he will have a bit of a breather. He will be able to look at who will be playing in the second semi-final itself, but he might be taking down the notes, or he might be just chilling out, because you know, the moment you have your strategy, you have your mindsets going in. I know what I'm going to do. I have my racing line. I have my strategies lay out when to tap it, when to go for it, and keep that consistency there. But the moment when you're going up against 1v1, it's more about how are you gonna recover from yourself if you're from chasing the first place itself. And IDZ, he did a bit of mistakes trying to chase. I think he took a bit more of a risky route, take a bit more of a rush method, trying to gain those millimeters, trying to gain back those distance and try to get back in favor. But then all those small risks that he took gave him a big risk where he crashed out at one turn itself, and basically he took the big risk. I'm not sure if he's trying to do it in a real time. Like, can he really put it out? That's the question. Like, pulling that big risk, especially it's only best of 3. If you drop 2 games, and definitely you are dropping into the 3rd and 4th placing, trying to fight for the 3rd place itself.
Yeah, and again, it's tough luck when you're going to be put in that kind of situation. In any case, for IDZ, it's going to be a tough situation when you're like Aeonian is so good and so consistent in getting his nitro combos done well, and on top of that, he's so good at being able to maintain momentum, through a lot of these, keeping his speed high, and really all those kind of combinations just means that if you're really trying to compete against him, you have to be able to bring your absolute best. So not even second rate is going to be able to apply here. But that's the nature of this game, and again, given this format where all the drivers are running the same car, there's no performance differential, so you can't even use your choice of vehicle in order to play performance tactics. So it's going to come down to your abilities, your consistency, and how you're going to be able to handle the stress, the pressure of competing against someone who is head and shoulders faster than you in most of these sections.
Totally agree with you. The car is the same, but the player, the skill sets that they have is different, and it's going to be a factor into it, because how are you gonna look at approaching the angles, how are you approaching the racing line, how are you approaching the game itself is going to be way different from one individual to another individual. But yeah, Vigorous, we are jumping into the second semi-finals. This is going to be the same map all over again.
Yep, this is leaps and bounds on New York. Myung Upsu is currently trying to chase hard against Happy Sisyphe. And look at that, synchronized swimming and a good overtake there over the bridge. A bit of a bump as well, looks like, but look at that. Myung Upsu taking the lead right now through this section, and now it's going to be up to Sisyphe to try to make up that difference.
Taking that risk by Sisyphe, try to gain some nitro, but that's going to slow him down. It's going to be an opening for the side of Myung Upsu to try to pull away, but still in the real mirror, Happy Sisyphe will be able to catch up if he can put on a correct and consistent perfection.
Yeah, he needs to be able to nail the shockwaves just like Myung Upsu is doing. And ooh, that's a really good line that Upsu has managed to pull off through there, though. The long application of that shockwave, so pretty much making sure that he's going to be able to maintain this lead, if not extend it here. Picks up the blue bottle and gets a nice big spin up the top there to completely fill up his bar and get the shockwave before he has to make a turn there. So again, very consistent and very smooth here for Myung Upsu.
Yeah, Myung Upsu, if you realize on the bridge itself, he keep on taking on the right lane itself, and will be slightly advantage, even though the first bottle of nitro is not going to be the gold bottle or yellow bottle that gets you double nitro, but the second one itself is where you land on to the road where you are going into the corner later on. That is going to be the one that he chose for, and it's going to be a bit hard of a catch up as the gap is growing longer and longer, and Myung-Yap-Soo just holding on to the line, holding on to the end, and he will be able to finish the first place. That's one for him. Still 2 more to go if Happy Sisyphus can able to catch up on the second race.
I tell you, like, Myung-ho Apsu was pretty much styling by that final lap there. I mean, pulling a whole extended line of shockwave all the way to the finish line. I mean, my goodness, so good, so consistent, these guys. So it just really tells me that this Android side competition is going to be so stiff, especially when we get to the grand finals. I mean, if this is Myung Apsu at his best and Aeonian as well at their best, I can only imagine the margins by which these guys are going to be able to win when we get to the best of 5 grand finals. I mean, that's going to be really exciting here to watch, my friend.
Yeah, definitely it's going to be very interesting to see how Aeonian, if Myung-Apsu is able to pick up the win for the second race and make it through the final itself. It's going to be very minimal itself, maybe through 1 of 100 itself. So it's going to be interesting to see how close the race, and definitely that is what we want to call it, a race indeed, because the small gaps, the small mistakes might be the thing that is gonna make you into the first place or the second place. It's going to be really interesting to see, but still, Happy still have a chance to play. Can he make a comeback? Can he mount up and warm up the engine and wrap his position into the first place again?
Yeah, I do like the reference that Happy Sisyphus has in his name. It's really kind of apt, actually, for Asphalt 9. You know, the myth of Sisyphus, if you're actually familiar with that, is that of Greek myth of this person named Sisyphus who has been cursed to raise a boulder all the way up the hill, only for that boulder to automatically fall all the way back down, forcing Sisyphus to constantly labor over and over again. And you know, Asphalt 9 being that kind of game where you had to practice repeatedly in order to nail your runs, you pretty much have to do so in order to get the fastest time. So all the best though to Sisyphus, because right now I would say Myung Apsu in this canyon launch section is pretty much going to be way faster right now. Look at that, he's getting huge lead, taking this line right through. And I think kind of back to the camera right now, so I suppose a bit of a technical issue there, but it seemed like in that run there, Myung Apsu was pretty much taking the lead at that point though. So again, you cannot really drop those starts, can you?
Yep, we have seen having the early start, it's going to be adventurous where you already are up ahead, you are able to take the line, you are able to see where you're going to go for. And look at Myung-Yap-Soo playing it. He just went through all the barn and in through the lead and leaving Happy at the back at all costs, and you can't even see Happy at one part on the map itself. So it's just way more faster by person compared to the car itself. The car, as you said, it's similar. There's no difference between the cars itself, but it's the player itself. It's how you are able to put on the perfection, hitting the right time at the right moment with the right angle itself. Seeing how Myung-Yap-Soo is playing it out. Oh, it feels like Happy have a lot of catch up. He really needs to put on his perfection, his best of the best. As you say, even the second can't be the best for him. Happy has to put on everything he has onto the race to even have a chance to make a comeback into the game.
Yeah, you gotta be 100% on it the moment they say go. So this is a game that you really have to be able to apply yourself fully in order to make these races run. Let's go ahead and jump back into the canyons once more here, ladies and gentlemen. We'll try to conclude this second semifinals. So Sissipi taking the left route here while allowing Ups to take the right route. But I don't know whether it's going to work out though. Ups is still able to stay ahead, and Sissipi kind of missed this drift a little bit there through that section. Doesn't quite get a flat spin as he drifts down towards the lower side of this canyon. But all of that, still not able to make up the distance to Ups quite yet.
Yeah, the distance is still up far, but Happy Sissipi trying to get on par, trying to catch up. It's going to be really difficult as the race leader is just keeping on the aggression, just keeping it clean, 100%, no mistake. Happy, the slides, the ball bank is going to cost him a bit, but looking at Myung-Soo, he is sitting so comfortable. He is just putting on a perfection. Good late break over there, trying to recover. Might be some distance for side of Happy.
I love that he managed to use that ramp there, that's meant for the left route, actually to get like a straight jump to the right-hand route. So really, Atsu is pretty much in his element right now. I mean, it doesn't seem to be any sign that he's going to be letting up here. He's having such comfortable lead that pretty much it's going to be a stroll in the park right now from Youngho Atsu to pretty much close out semifinals number 2 now. So Sissipi, it's been a good run here, my friend, but unfortunately it looks like you're going to have to grind a little bit more there, my friend.
Yeah, definitely a grind true to the line. So he's trying to put the boulder up, but the boulder is just rolling all the way to the finish line with one last barrel roll. That will be it. Myung-Soo will be moving into the final, going up against RPM Aeonian. That's going to be a very, very interesting matchup between these two players.
Yeah, so pretty much that's going to be our grand finalists for the Android side locked down here. RPM Aeonian versus KRL Myung-Soo. It's going to be the battle of the titans for the Android side here. So can't wait to see how that's going to turn out though. But nevertheless, for Happy Sissipi and IDZ, there can be plenty to smile about because it's still another chance for them to fight for honor, because third, fourth placer match will be coming up later on after this, and between the two of them, the Magical, do you feel that any one of them is showing particular strength during this semifinals?
Just looking at how they are performing, IDZ trying his best to keep the consistency there, and based on how Happy is playing with some maps itself, some of the routes itself, choose the alternative lane and lines itself. It's going to be a bit of mix up. So looking and just basing on base of these two players, it's going to be really interesting to see will Happy pull out some alternative line, even though it's going to be longer route, it's going to be a bit tad slower, but can he make that difference using the alternative route? I feel like the safest route, the straightforward route, IDZ might be able to pull up ahead, but if Happy is able to pull a big one from the alternative route, try to make a difference and try to get even more nitro boost on the alternative route, maybe Happy has it. But I'm gonna put my vote onto IDZ, keeping it straightforward, keeping it simple, keeping it consistent. As you've been talking about, consistency will pay off, and that consistency from IDZ, I believe he may be able to put it off against Happy.
Here's the thing though, I'm of a slightly different opinion though, because when we're talking about these two drivers now, they're not really as fast as the fastest here. I mean, Aeonian and Myung-Soo are both perfectionists when it comes to being fast on their lines. So really, I think that in this third, fourth placer match here, it actually makes more sense to actually go for the riskier route, because the gains they're going to be able to take from that might actually outweigh any sort of like downside from that. And really, when you're at the third, fourth placer match, what else do you have to lose? Really, at that point, you're still at worst case scenario, you're still going to finish in fourth. So, what might as well go ahead and take the risk, right?
True. That is an angle that can look at it, but taking the risk, you're gambling for third and fourth place. Do you agree that there's nothing to lose? You already are at third and fourth placing. What can you lose other than the placing itself? But sometimes at that kind of angle, certain players they have the side and angle we're looking at. Okay, I'm gonna play it safe. I'm gonna go back to strat. Feels like it's gonna work, but he kind of sold me a bit on the high risk, high reward bit of angle, but I might still keep it to the safe route, straightforward. It is going to be shorter. Try to put your best effort, try to put your best consistency, your maximized effort into it, and try to get that lead and finish with the first place.
All right. That's a fair idea there. But nevertheless, for the third, fourth placers, they're going to be running through an entirely different set of tracks here compared to the semifinals. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge for them as well when you think about it, because really, how often you're going to be preparing for these other tracks here. You're more likely going to be preparing for the grand finals here. But nevertheless, for these guys here, they're going to be fighting through the streets of New York, and then off towards Rome, and then finally towards Shanghai. But I think for a lot of the drivers here, they pretty much take the time to research and try to find what is the ideal or the fastest lines through these tracks. And it's a process of doing the research and putting down your times, trying to perfect your runs. So really, the process that these Asphalt 9 players have to take can be a long and arduous one, but it all culminates right now in this final match here. This is the third, fourth placer between IDZ and Henry Sisyphe, and looking at they're pretty much neck and neck right now through the city that never sleeps here. This is a New York track, and it looks like both of these guys are pretty much handling it well. Unfortunately, so I think Sisyphe is going to have to reset his car, and that's going to hand a huge lead now to IDZ.
Yeah, that is the high risk, high reward talk that you're talking about, and definitely Happy Sisyphe is getting the feel of the high risk, getting plenty there with the crash out. But IDZ, knowing that this is the window, this is the gap, he just need to put on a safe and consistent run through the end. He will be able to catch that, but Happy has a lot of catch up to do. It's going to be real interesting to see how will he be able to catch this up. Ooh, IDZ took the right lane. It's kind of interesting to see how players sometimes take the gamble and go for the right lane instead of going for the left lane.
Looking at the way IDZ is driving as well, he's not really finessing so much. He's being a little bit sloppy in some of these corners, to be entirely honest. But again, fair play to him. He's got such a huge lead right now. He can actually afford to be that sloppy here. Hopefully, it won't be too sloppy to the point that Sisyphe is going to be able to catch up. But on the radar, on the map right now for Sisyphe, you cannot even see IDZ's hit on there. So pretty much, I think at this point now, it's going to be a victory run now for IDZ.
Yeah, definitely a victory run for IDZ. He is taking a bit of high risk, trying to get to the end way faster, able to hit the shot with, but keeping it clean. He is still able to keep that lead and will be able to finish the first round itself. For the third and fourth placing, that is the initial advantage that he needs. The crash out from the side of Happy was just a bit unfortunate. I felt like he overwent for that left line itself and then just hits the building itself and then crash out onto the right lane.
Yeah, he might have missed his drift over there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing I could think of that really, because that was a huge trajectory that he was going towards that wall. So
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was a little bit of a misclick on his end. But what a costly mistake to have, though, especially in what is probably going to be his final match here. So in any case, though, hopefully he'll be able to recover. It's still a best of three, so they're gonna have another attempt against each other in the Eternal City.
Mm-hmm.
But so far, I mean, IDZ doing very well to just capitalize on your opponent's mistakes. So really, that's racing. It's like
Mm-hmm.
when your opponent is making a mistake, don't interrupt him. Just make sure you keep your lines nice and
Mm-hmm.
clean, and avoid all that trouble.
Yep, keep your eyes on the road, keep it right in front, and just do your thing. But happy is going to be happy. He's not going to be happy about it because dropping the first race, he has to catch up in second race itself. It's going to be really interesting how it is going to pull off. Will he pull out the high risk and try again to go for the maximum boost itself? Worried that he might crash out again and get IDZ, but IDZ should not be banking on the mistake. He should be banking on his consistency because we do see him at the later phase, at the later corners. We see how he been a bit sloppy, taking the corners a bit on the drift itself, but the consistency has to be pushed up to 100% now if IDZ wants to go for the third place.
Yeah, and I sincerely hope that Happy Sisyphe is going to have some strong psychology, though, because he's going to need it in these kind of scenarios. We're going to be running through our next run here in the city of Rome, the Eternal City, as it were, and Sisyphe nails a shockwave, so that's going to give him a nice and healthy lead here. So already, that's good work done. Can he keep the lead all throughout? No, that is so tragic there. Sisyphe making a major mistake at the jump and hand the lead back to IDZ yet again.
Oh no! I didn't really expect that Happy CCSP would take that risk, and he took that risk. IDZ capitalized it, and he just need to keep this line. He just need to keep this run smooth as possible and run towards the end. He has a huge lead, a huge gap to control. The whole race is all on IDZ right now.
Yeah, pretty much everything is all in his hands right now. If he wins or loses, it's pretty much going to be by his hand here. All CCP could do now is just hope and pray his opponent's hand might slip a little bit here or there and hand him an opportunity to catch up, but really, it's starting to look very bleak now as IDZ continues to nail this run through his lap here and has nothing that's going to be in the way of this Bugatti Divo right about now.
Yeah, IDZ just he's picking up his consistency, dropping the sloppiness, and he is able to hold the lead. But Happy, what an upset, a risk that he took, and the risk that he has to pay gives him the second place. You might see a very dominant run from the side of IDZ as he crosses the finish line once again. What an upset from the side of Happy, taking that risk.
Yeah, a risk that unfortunately didn't quite pay off the way he expected there, but I still gotta respect it though. Like I said, in the third and fourth placer match, you're pretty much back against a wall. There's nothing left to lose at that point, so why not go for it? He went for it, and unfortunately, he had to suffer the unintended consequences, as it were. So that is the end of the third or fourth placer match here for the Android side, which means that IDZ pretty much is going to be going home with the third place prize of 80 USD. Fourth place, that's going to be going straight towards Sisyphe here, so at least he could be happy with 55 USD in hand there. So really now, next thing we're going to have to focus here is going to be our grand finalists, RPM Aeonian versus Myungho Upsu. Right now, ooh, the magical. Between these two drivers, who do you currently favor at this point right now? I mean, we know
Oh.
both of them are super consistent. They're super
Mm-hmm.
fast in their respective semifinals, and pretty much dominated their own races here. So, in this best of five right now, do you have any kind of idea who might have a kind of advantage here?
Oh, this is just really a hairline of a difference between RPM Aeonian and going up to itself. It's so hairline. It's so close. I all I can predict is could be a 3-2, but I'm not sure who will be able to grab it. Could it be Aeonian? Could it be KL? It's going to be really, really close to the line. But I do have a bit of feeling digging into my bag of magical stuff. Do feel like RPM Aeonian might be able to pull it off, but it will not be an easy one for me. It might be a very, very hard race where it might force all the way to the fifth race itself. So I don't know, it feels like Aeonian may be able to cap it and be the champion 3-2. That's my prediction, but it's not going to be an easy one for him.
Yeah, this is gonna be the toughest run of the lives here. Naturally, this is the open finals, so you literally got the best of the best up against each other here. And exactly, this is gonna be what we're having here. So this is gonna be a best of five. We've got a massive selection of tracks here for these two drivers to fight over. Starting off with the cave in Scotland, so this is gonna be nice and interesting. I always love the Scottish backdrop when it comes to racing games because it always gives a really a strange sense of nostalgia, I have to say. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be the nice and cloudy hills here, Scotland. The thunders are roaring, and look at that. Both of these drivers literally pressing each other through the ramp. And Aeonian managed to recover just nicely, but unfortunately, that's going to be a little bit of lead now that he's going to be handing over to Myungho Upsu.
Yeah, Aeonian has to go for the catch-up gain. It's going to be deep, but not getting the full maximize of that ramp will be good for the side of Myungho Upsu. But Aeonian trying to go for the push, try to catch up. Millimeter by millimeter, just trying to maximize his effort to pull up.
Yeah, his best bet right now is just making sure that he still consistently nails the rest of this line here. Make sure he doesn't drop any more time from this point on. And hope that Myungho Upsu's own lines has his own mistakes and hopefully be able to catch up based on that. But for now, though, both of these drivers are pretty much toe-to-toe here. Aeonian trying to go a little bit on the inside here, nailing a little bit better on the shockwave. So he's actually starting to catch up a little bit as far as I could see. Don't know when it's going to be enough, though. Look at that. They just crisscross each other here. But Myungho Upsu still is able to pull ahead there. A little bit of a rail ride here. Unfortunately, dropped down Aeonian speed. So a little bit of an opportunity there to get a pass. Myungho Upsu might have just gotten a little bit past though, but look at that. I think he's starting to catch up though. He's literally right on his tail now. But coming up to the finish line there is so close, but still yet so far. Aeonian, unfortunately, will have to concede that first round there to Myungho Upsu.
Yeah, but a great defense coming in from the side of Myungho Upsu. On the coast itself, look at how he was able to defend the lead itself, and at that same time, Aeonian landed at a very, very weird angle, and he lost a lot of speed, and definitely that was the last opportunity for him to even close the gap. He was so close, they was almost neck to neck at one time, but then that one small mistake, he really took that risk, and I really give him credit for taking that risk, because if he don't take that risk, I don't think there's any more catch up for him, because the whole risk is going to end soon. And also defended perfectly. Aeonian tried to take that risk, did crash out, but did falter a bit at the back, try to catch up in the cave itself, did not manage to go for the final push. But that's the first race. We still have potential, 4 more to go. No, it's very close to neck to neck, Victor.
Oh yeah, this is exactly what we expect here. I mean, this is the grand finals here. We got the two best drivers on the Android platform, RPM Aeonian and KRL Myungho Apsu. So really, I expected nothing less out of this. But I think now from this point on, this second and third runs are going to be very, very important here because I fear that for the driver that's going to be a little bit behind, that they're going to be cracking before the end of this grand finals. But nevertheless, we trudge players. This is Mountain Hold, and right now Myung Apsu is taking a nice lead here as he get up through the jump. He picks up the bottle, and it's pretty much going to be able to nail a nice smooth nitro line all the way down to its tail. But Aeonian gets 9 flat. Is that going to be enough for him to catch up though? He's already starting to gain. He has a lot of speed actually through this section here, so he's actually doing a lot of good work. Nails another shockwave here. Yo, Apsu better keep his timings nice though, because he's having a very, very fast RPM driver right on his tail.
Yeah, Aeonian doing the catch up. He is perfectly doing the recovery, try to catch a millimeter, high millimeter, able to bounce off the wall hard. A good play from both the players. Myung also on the other hand trying to keep the lead, but he is struggling because he knows that Aeonian is on the back foot. It's real close. Try to maximize it, but they are next to each other. But Aeonian able to take that lead.
Myung Apsu is going to have to try to recover now because Aeonian has the lead here, and it's just in time though. This is the second lap already, so time is going to be running out for Myung Apsu in order to try to regain the lead. But look at that, Aeonian getting a good shockwave and a barrel roll at the same time. Pretty much going to try to keep this as much as he can though. Keeping the lead, the shockwave is going to be taken by both of these drivers, getting the good jumps here through the ramps. It's going to be close here, ladies and gentlemen, as this race is going to come to a close.
Oh, this is really nerve-wracking to see both players, but I'm just amazed how neck to neck is RPM Aeonian and Myung Apsu. That is really close, and what a recovery from RPM Aeonian from the second lap itself, able to make that pass in the mountains.
Oh, this is, you know what, this is payback, I tell you, for race number 1 there. He couldn't catch him that time, so he's gonna catch him here in the hills of the Himalayas. So well done. This is only making things so spicy right now with his grand finals. Maybe your prediction of a 3-2 may not be that far off here, ladies and gentlemen. So I can't wait to see how this is gonna turn out. This is looking like a very, very close match here. And between the two of them, like at this point here, all bets are off. I mean, pretty much, I think it could be anyone's race here.
So I totally agree with you. Seeing how Myung Apsu, he made a mistake at one stretch where he was knocking onto the right fence, then onto the left fence itself. That was the small window that RPM Aeonian found out. Alright, he made a mistake. He's losing a bit of speed. I might be able to close the gap. And on the lap 2, we see it was so neck to neck. I was looking at the dots itself, the colors of that dot. They were just neck to neck each other. And the moment it switched over to RPM Aeonian, he just took the lead. He hold on to it. He kept on attacking the route itself, and he was able to keep on the lead. Definitely, this is going to be a race to watch, as the third one will begin real soon. The fourth one could be the decider, but I'm still on my prediction that it could be a 3-2. On which side, it's so high, so 50-50. Might be down to the hairline itself, I'll say.
Oh yeah, it's going to go down all the way to the final race here, potentially. between these two drivers. So yeah, I can't wait to see how that's going to turn out here. But man, between these two drivers though, I really, because in a kind of matchup like this, you worry that the mind games are just going to be a bit overwhelming, because again,
Mhm.
you're gonna have to really run perfectly through five different tracks here. And I'm just constantly amazed, especially at RPM in Union's ability to actually pick up shockwaves, as
Mhm.
I've tried driving in this game here, and just trying to string together a good combo to get a shockwave at the end there can be so tough. But
Mhm.
here is RPM Aeonian, literally pulling these shockwaves out of nowhere in order to try to catch up with Young Ho Apsu. So it's just incredible to watch here, really. So these are really the best of the best here, ladies and gentlemen, for Asphalt 9 for this Asia region. So you're really having a treat here.
Yep, definitely a treat as you jump into the third race itself. This time, RPM Union, you'll be able to take the lead.
Ooh, yeah, he snatches a lead and gets a good jump combo there to gain some good nitro, a good drift there to boot, just going around through the sandy dunes here of Paradise Resort on the Caribbean island. And more now though, Alien is pretty much in his element here. He's taking that lead and is not letting it go.
Yup, a lead that is being kept by Aeonian. Real good defense. But look at the gap, it's closing and the catch-up gap is coming. Hong Myung of Su able to catch bit by bit, inches by inches. Looking at the dot is so close.
Yeah, slowly, bit by bit, Meow Aksu starting to catch up here, so Aeonian's going to have to defend, and defend he will by nailing those floating drifts and making sure that he keeps those jumps nice and tight here so that he can get his maximum drift out, his maximum nitro, getting a shockwave as well. Aeonian skimming around the beach here, making sure that he keeps that lead. He's managed to build it up a little bit, so he's quite fast actually through the initial sections. Only the later sections that Aeonian needs to watch out, because he seems to be a little bit slower comparatively with Young Aksu.
Yeah, man. So, good recovery from that. I do realize that he took an alternative route on the second lap itself, trying to take that risk, trying to build up the nitro to get that shock with, but will he be able to catch up? The feels like it's getting further, but no, the crash out! Oh no! Oh no!
Right at the last moment as well. That's pretty much going to hand the race then to RPM Aeonian. And wow, what a shame. What a shame. That was just right at the final sector as well there. So, oh man. But still, it looked pretty much like Aeonian was on track there to take the race, regardless of that crash there. I mean, it really just goes to show how hard Myung-ho Apsu was really trying to push through that final section. I mean, again, it's really very tough to recover any bit of lost time, especially when you're going 1v1 against the best, one of the best Asphalt 9 drivers here in Asia. So, it's a bit heartbreaking, but things like these, they happen, and that's why we have a best of 5 here, really giving them ample chances here to try to regain the initiative. So pretty much with the third race now having gone to RPM Aeonian, that's 2-1 right now. So it's one more to win it though for RPM Aeonian. So another chance right now for Myung-ho Apsu in order to try to regain his initiative in this best of 5.
Yeah, I totally agree. Young Apsu definitely have to dig deep, really dig deep, and go on for the push. Maybe what he can do is try to get the early initial lead. Do feel like the initial lead, like in race 1 itself, we've seen how he kept the lead. The only thing that was a bit of an upset for him was the mistake that he got crash out in the first race. But if he can keep on the early initial lead and have a clean run all the way towards the second lap itself, I feel like he might have that opportunity. But those risks that he's taking, I'm not gonna put him down for that. It's a good risk that he wants to take, try to build up for the Nitro itself, but RPM Ionian just keep a very clean run, a very clean straight on matter and straight on strategy. He just do not want to take the risk because he know it is just inches. He can be on the lead, but looking at how Myung also is able to catch up, RPM Aeonian is just going to be a bit more less of a risk taking and more of a consistent speed run.
Yeah, but what do you do when you when your opponent is consistently perfect? Obviously, going to be very tough for you to fight against. But Apsu is still going to try.
Oh, no!
Aeonian crashes out very early on here, so Apsu might have just the best chance of his life right now to take this race. Now he just got to have to play it nice and clean, and maybe play it consistent, like you said, Uru.
Yeah, definitely. He just need to keep on to this. This is the opportunity for him to capitalize because he just need to run all the way to the second lap and just win it. And I'm not sure can even RPM Ionian able to catch up because looking at how also he already exited the tunnel and RPM Ionian just entered.
Yeah, so he's very far back, clearly. So that's a major mistake here that Aeonian has just made here. He's gonna have a lot of distance here to try to make up, and I fear he may not even have enough really, unless there's a mistake that's gonna be coming out from your Apsu's side. But oh no! I literally has just jinxed him there. He's gonna have to reset, and unfortunately, Aeonian retakes the lead away from Apsu. What is this race right now? Top two turning leaders going back and forth right about now. Aeonian currently having a lead. Apsu still very close behind him. He needs to do it within the next quarter of this race.
Yeah, the tunnel is going to be really important. Who will be exiting it could be the one that close the run, but Victor, what a prediction with a small mistake. Oh man, that was a big one that he has to take, but look at Myung Apsu, he has the Nitro, he has Shockwave intent. Can he catch up? But no!
Oh, he gets it. He gets it in the end here, ladies and gentlemen. RPM Aeonian takes this series 3-1. Oh, he was looking so close for that 3-2 though, because again, Myung Apsu had such a big opportunity, but just made the same mistake actually that Aeonian made. So I mean, what a cursed section that really is for both of these drivers.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see any other drivers go through that pass, but Myung also just had to keep it clean. We're not sure what was the factor that made that crash out from Myung also, but looking at the fast speed up towards the left path, so might be hitting some of the walls and definitely crashing out in the later phase itself. But taking the risk, it feels like he had that lead. He had that big lead in the start itself, keeping it consistent. He took the risk. Really, that was a risk that he really have to pay it. And RPM Aeonian capture it 3-2-1.
Indeed here. So that's going to be the update on the brackets here, ladies and gentlemen. RPM Aeonian is the winner of the Android Asia segment for Asphalt 9 Legends here, ladies and gentlemen. Second place, that's going to be going to KRL Myungho Apsu. Take the nice and brilliant run here to get to the grand finals, but unfortunately it ends right here and now. So third place, that's going to be going to IDZ, taking it quite literally off of the hands of Happy Sisyphe. So that's the results of our Android platform here for Asphalt 9. So pretty much congratulations to our winners here.
Congratulations to all 4 participants. They made it through. We have seen it on Android but we will be moving on to iOS. It's going to be a different set of players who's going to run it out. Could we see a replica of what happened in Android on iOS? Victor, just what us should.
Well, knowing how good these drivers are, I'm expecting no less here. We've got some of the best drivers here as well on the iOS platform. Hope you guys will join us for that, because that's going to be coming up next year. We've got yet 4 more drivers here to compete for that ultimate prize here coming up after that break here, so make sure you guys join us for that. My name is Victor Cax. Joining me here is Uwe the Magical. We'll see you for the next segment of this open finals for Asphalt 9, so stay tuned. We'll be right back after these messages.
Before we jump into the next one, here's a quick reminder for all of you mobile gamers out there. The ESL Mobile Open is just around the corner, so head over to Twitter right now and get all of those details. Tell your friends, build a team, and earn a spot in the finals.
Feel the lights, see the stage, hear the vibe. Pumped up to get ready for the fight. Big dreams, one chance, be the star. I'm the winner coming out of the dark.
Step out as a motivator. Let them know that the weight's up. That's how we know when we level up. Ay, that's how we know when we level up.
All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up.
Back against the wall, still I'm standing tall. Know about the ball, I got my fan with me. That's how we know when we level up. Yeah, that's how we know when we level up. Level up.
All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up.
Before we jump into the next one, here's a quick reminder for all of you mobile gamers out there. The ESL Mobile Open is just around the corner, so head over to Twitter right now and get all of those details. Tell your friends, build a team, and earn a spot in the finals.
Feel the lights, see the stage, hear the vibe. Pumped up to get ready for the fight. Big dreams, one chance, be the star. I'm the winner coming out of the dark.
Step out as a motivator. Let them know that the wait's up. That's how we know. That's how we know when we're
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up.
back against the wall. Still I'm standing tall. Know about the ball. I got my fan with me. That's how we know when we level up. Yeah, that's how we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. It's time, get up.
Yo guys, gals, welcome back from that break. It was a little bit of a while, wasn't it? But nevertheless, we're back here with the ESL Mobile Open, and we're here to bring more of the Asphalt Mine Open Finals here. My name is Victor Cax. Joining me here is Uwe the Magical, and boy, after having enjoyed those runs there by the Android side, you know, how are you enjoying this game so far? I mean, isn't it quite impressive, the amount of destruction that really occurs, isn't it?
Yeah, just looking at how all these players is performing on the top of their game is definitely going to be very interesting, because I've been playing for quite some time. I can't really perform what they are performing. That is pure dedication, and as you say, it's all on the training. It's all on how you keep your consistency, how you keep on knowing when to hit the nitro, when to go for the shockwave itself, when to go for the tricks and drift. Most of the time I'll do the drifting part, but whenever I try to pull off all those tricks, I try to get a crash out of it. But looking at how they are driving it, how they are putting it on the game itself with the intensity, because you know that you're going up against another player, and that player's skill might be able to be higher than you, might be faster than you. While the cast is similar, but the player skill is different. But looking at what happened on the Android side, that is an eye-opening for me.
Indeed, it is. I'm just glad you're enjoying the show as much as I am here, ladies and gentlemen. So let's go ahead and check out the brackets here for iOS side. Whole new set of competitors here, ladies and gentlemen. We've got R on one side. We've also got Oka Pico. Redzone.exe is his other alias here, and he's going to be in that first semifinals. Then in the second semifinals, we have Lemon Tea, and would have been going up against Sheeta, or I should say would have had gone up against Sheeta, because unfortunately I got to bear a little bit of bad news here, ladies and gentlemen. Sheeta is not able to join us for this open finals here due to some unforeseen circumstances. So unfortunately, they had to forfeit. So very, very sorry for that for Sheeta. But nevertheless, you'll be going home with at least some knowledge that, you know, he's at least is worthy of being amongst the best here. So we are still going to be running this the same like the Android side. It is still single elimination. We will still run this all the way to the grand finals. Best of 3 for the semifinals, and then best of 5 for the grand finals. After having seen what the Android boys could do, what do you think we're going to be seeing from the iOS side? Pretty much the same as well, you expect?
I am expecting somewhat similar, maybe more of a finesse part. We're seeing how the player skill itself today, performing all the 360 multiple times, barrel roll itself, taking the risk. Maybe it pays off, maybe it doesn't. We have seen a couple of cases that some of the skills that they're pulling off has led to crash out instead. So maybe on the iOS side, there might be a fortune as we come to the first semi-final. We are going up against Oka People. it will be an interesting one as we are going back to the same map number 1.
Yeah, this is Leap and Bounce here in the New York side, and you can see it's very, very familiar. R choosing to use up his Nitro through the whole boost, gets a Shockwave through the next jump as well. So Okapico is going to have a heck of a time now to try to regain a lot of that lead here. So he's going to be able to get the fully drift. It's a little bit of a touch on the side, but does land the Shockwave anyway. Thing is, R is pretty consistent on his side as well, but Okapico is just really losing a lot of time through that section there. So unfortunately, R is pretty much going to be able to extend his lead here.
Yup, holding on to the lead for the first lap. Can he hold it on to the second lap? By Lucy, both players going on. Okapico will be able to take the ram and utilize it and build more Nitro. Will it be enough? But R is still holding on, going under the bridge. Will be able to hold on to the lead.
Yeah, I mean, I felt that that was a bit of a mistake there from Red Zone to take that route because it doesn't seem to gain him any time. Or really, I felt actually it more or less lost him quite a lot of time. And look at R nailing the Shockwave again in the second jump. So pretty well and well-oiled and well-looped for this run here. Red Zone is having a lot of trouble here trying to keep up. The lead is just almost a mile long now at this point. I can barely even see Okapico's hip on the map here when we're riding aboard here with R. So it's just about landed on a bridge while R just about jumps off. So you can tell that the gap's getting so huge right now. So R again is taking this run, this right-hand run here, and again it allows you to basically get a lot more speed through that run and through that drift. In fact, it pretty much worked out well there for R, pretty much handily giving him the lead and the win here. So first round starting off very well for our friend here.
Yup, going into the first race uncontested, not much of a pressure coming in from Okapico or Red Zone itself, but can R keep on the momentum, keep on the snowball that he has into race number 2. We do see bit of a falter, bit of sloppiness coming in from the side of Red Zone itself. Looking at certain of the corners he takes, like it hits the side of corners, it hits some of the pillars itself, slowing him down slightly, and the gap itself just went bigger and bigger and bigger, and to a point, I don't think with chain Shockwave we are even able to catch up to that, because the distance that R has made, the distance that he has created, it's so far wide. The gap itself was so big itself that Red Zone can't even catch up. And maybe, as you said, the last corner before going to the second lap itself, the alternative route that Red Zone took might be slower, and he took that risk. He tried to build as much Nitro boost that he can, because there's a ramp on the left side for that alternative lane, but I think it was not enough for him to even create the lead. It's just maybe by a very the distance between the cars, maybe Red Zone might have a small chance to pull the gap closer, but feels like the gap just ran bigger and wider for Red Zone.
Okapico trying to make a chase. R gets an early Shockwave, so that's already pulled a big lead now ahead as they try to roam their way through the canyon launch. So R takes the upper lane, goes right down through the canyon down to take the right-hand lane, and picks up a Shockwave as he gets a barrel roll. So does Okapico as well, though he is taking a little bit of a slightly more scenic route. But it seems like R is not only building up that lead, he's making it so far ahead right now that I don't quite see where he is actually on the map at all. Like, my goodness, Okapico is having a lot of trouble here trying to keep up here with R. Oh, might be an opportunity though, because R is crashed out. He's gonna have to reset. Okapico had a lot more speed there as he runs through that section. So now he has taken the lead away from R. So this could be devastating here if R cannot catch back that lead.
Yup, needs to pick up the recovery as Oka people will be able to capitalize it, and right now he's sitting in front onto the second lap, but it's not faltering, he's not giving up, it is almost close, neck to neck. Look at C, but job is coming from both the players, will be able to hit the ramp. Need to chase up, needs the perfection right now.
Arda's getting a jump though over Okapipo, so that's giving him just enough nitro to stay ahead of him, and now he gets a shockwave again to solidify his lead. Okapipo now tries to get the floaty drip in order to try to regain that. Gets a shockwave, but look at that! My goodness, he's all the way in the distance now. Ard looks pretty much set to take the win again. Looked almost like he was going to lose it there, but just pure tenaciousness. Ard has managed to regain all of that distance now to reclaim this, and probably will take it if he can just nail down this final section. Picks on the blue bottle, has a shockwave to boot, and the barrel roll. I mean, pretty much shockwave all the way to the finish line. Just the way I love it.
Yeah, what a recovery from the side of R, able to come back, build up the speed, build up the gap, and close down onto Oka people. And just put on his best. He pushed his limit. You saw that he was faltering at a place where he got hit by the train. It's so unfortunate that the train just reached at that time, but I guess he was able to recover and make the winner. What a play from R, what a recovery. That one was, I would say that's a highlight for me.
Yeah, the recovery drive, but really, I think he kind of put himself in a bad position there. I mean, he was wall riding while the train came by. I don't think that was where he necessarily wanted to be in. Really, I think if you're going through a train section, you want to be in the center of the tracks rather than sorry, not the center, I mean the between the two tracks rather than actually riding on the side there, especially when there's a little wall. There's a very tiny gap. I know that the great Ayrton Senna once said, if you're a racing driver, you must go for the gap when it exists. If you don't go for the gap, then you're no longer a racing driver. So I think it's like there's certain situations where you shouldn't take that to heart there, my friend. So chill a little bit, take the safer route, but nevertheless, good recovery drive. I mean, that was certainly quite a joy to see. The two of them absolutely going neck to neck against each other, both getting the shockwaves down at the same time. I mean, you can tell these guys were pushing it to the limit here of what they're capable of.
But nonetheless, captured 2 races, able to capitalize every single opportunity that puts him into the grand finals instead. And I just thinking about the gap that you were talking about, thinking about that route itself, it was after the hairpin at the big corner itself, and then I think he was sliding into the right track, but it was a bit slow for him to slide into that. That's why he hit the wall itself, and then the train came at that time. Was a bit misfortune and a bit of mistiming from him. I think he wanted to go ahead before the trains arrived. That's why he got a crash out there because of that mistime move itself. But nonetheless, that recovery, that was just splendid coming from behind, taking the lead, and the ramp jump that he made, able to capitalize and take the charge over Oka people, like literally flew over Oka people on the car itself.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a joy to see these guys really pull the best drives of their lives here, and pretty much it is for the cash prize here. Don't forget that we got a 1,070 US dollar prize pool here that all of these drivers are fighting for. For both of the Android, both of the platforms here. For Android, they are the first place is going home with 300 USD. For iOS, same as well. They're going to be taking 300 USD for the winner, 100 USD for second place, and third place will be going home with 85. So pretty much this is all about the money here, ladies and gentlemen. At the end of this open finals, it's pretty much the highest possible stakes for our players here.
Yeah, we have seen R, but right now Lemon Tea is up against R. It will be interesting to see what Lemon Tea have in his bag of tricks try to pull up against R. As you can see, R perfection, consistency, it's all nice, but what does Lemon Tea has riding on the yellow vinyl as well?
Yeah, so this is going to be an interesting situation here, ladies and gentlemen. Again, because Sheeta is not able to join us here, it wouldn't be too fair to let Lemon Tea through to the grand finals without a fight. So he'll be going up against R here, and if R can beat Lemon Tea here, pretty much we're going to be guaranteed our winner. But then again, if Lemon Tea can make an upset, he's going to have to do it right here. So R now gets a chase onto him. He's keeping very close, getting flat spin. He gets some extra nitrous. Look at that. He's keeping it side by side now to come around from the jump. Gets a power roll as well. And he get past though. Lemon Tea is doing very well actually to try to keep his lead. He gets a good trip as well. Keeps the lead through the lap, but no, he loses it by the time he gets to the end there because R gets an extra shockwave. Now Lemon Tea is going to have to play the chaser now, but it's going to be much harder from him this time around unless he can get an extra shockwave with though too, but R is still getting his nitrous all the way up to pool.
Yup, just hitting shockwave after shockwave. Lemon Tea tried to build up his own shockwave, finally has one through the ship itself. Can he catch up? He just need another shockwave and to be able to catch up to R, but R is just holding on to the lead. The final few ramps into the cave itself, into the tunnel and the final corner, and R picks up the first win. Oh, it feels so close. It's so hard to judge who could be the winner and who could be the champion, but R picks up the first one. That's a good sign for R. But Lemon Tea, I feel like he still have some fights in it.
Oh yeah, very, very much so there, ladies and gentlemen, because pretty much, you know, if it wasn't for a slight mistake here or there, I'm pretty sure that Lemon Tea could have actually kept up quite well with R there. It's just a matter of, like, I think R having a much more perfect run there compared to Lemon Tea. So again, at this stage of this competition here, if you're coming in without your absolute best, you're gonna lose out, you know, in a big way, because sometimes even the tiniest margins here is going to mean the difference between the win or the loss. It's pretty much that simple here, unfortunately, for a game like Asphalt 9, you know, despite all the complexities involved really in trying to nail that perfect run. So I'm afraid for for Lemon Tea that, you know, he's gonna have to figure out you know, in the next run or so to see if he can actually gain any sort of advantage over R, or else it's pretty much going to be GGWP here from this point on.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I do feel like R just need to keep on doing what he's doing, but for Lemon Tea himself, I feel like he needs to do a bit more of the tricks, finesse a bit more, build up that nitro, because at one point I was looking at the nitro bar for both of the players. R had the shockwave ready, where Lemon Tea, he's already 3/4 there and he's almost there, but he popped the nitro earlier than R. That's why R had the advantage on the shockwave itself, advantage on the speed itself, and able to pull up ahead. And then R was able to hit another shockwave right after the first one, and that was the first big gap that we saw. But Lemon Tea tried his best to try to really pull back and build up that shockwave. I feel like the utilizing the efficiency of the nitro is going to be down to the wire between these two players, because who has the shockwave might have the opportunity and that advantage in pulling up ahead.
Yeah, just getting bits and pieces of shockwave here and there is going to work out for you in the end there. So nevertheless, here it looks like we're going to be running through the mountain poles and Himalayas here, and Lemon Tea and R both nailing shockwave at the same time, getting the barrel roll as well. So pretty much Lemon Tea is following R's line down to a T right now, but really it's going to be a massive chase now towards the end here. It's going to be a long way before we finish off lap number 2.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long way, but Lemon Tea building up all those shockwave. He will be able, but no, he expanded it, but he will be able to pull out the second one. But on the other side, R will be able to have his own shockwave and keep on the distance, pulling up in front into the cage. Wow, the speed that R and chaining all those nitro.
Yeah, chained it so perfectly there. Lemon Tea kind of missed a slight opportunity there to get a slightly longer shockwave, and I think that might actually end up hurting him if he's not able to chain together enough of these super high value boosts. Because really, if you're not able to maximize amount of speed. Oh no, that's tragic. That's so tragic there from Lemon Tea. That's an unnecessary mistake there. But now R pretty much is solidly in the lead now, because that crash there from Lemon Tea has pretty much written off his chances here on this race, which is now almost about complete here. We got the last quarter to go here, and R is very much in his element. Didn't even need to go for the flat spin here. Will nail the shockwave and gets a chain all the way up through the ramp here. I mean, this guy is running perfectly through this run here. So that's going to be 2 points now towards R. This grand finals now is looking very testy here, but yeah, I think Lemon Tea's opportunity has just slipped him by. R now nailing the final shockwave, goes across the line here to take it 2-0 for now. So only one more to go, and if that's not even going to be a single point here from Lemon Tea, I'm afraid it's going to be a straight walk here for R in this grand finals.
Yeah, just looking at R running with the car, just performing all those things, it just feels like an AI. On point, perfect position, and all the finesse that he pulls off. Doesn't he pull it off because he has the big gap, but it just feels like perfection from start till the end. Just one mishap from the side of Lemon Tea. Just a bit weird angle when he was going down the slope, try to take the ramp. Normally what all the players will try to take the ramp on towards the right, go for half pipe of the ramp, and then try to ricochet from the mountain side itself. But Lemon Tea had a very bad angle and doesn't have the full speed, so the moment he hits that, it was bumper to wall itself, and that could be the cause of the crash. But looking at how he was performing, it was just so clean. There's no mistakes at all. The moment he had the gap, it was just so clean.
Yeah, if it just wasn't for that one mistake there, he probably could have kept up quite well with R, maybe even had an opportunity here or there to actually make up the gap. But it's just so sad it wasn't meant to be. But he still has one more chance though. Paradise Resort and Caribbean Island, we've seen the runs that they're able to do in the Android side, so pretty much if it's going to be a place for comeback, it's going to be right here and there for Lemon Tea. But if your allegation of R being a robot, do you think you should actually make it part of the rules to have the drivers run a captcha before they do their runs? Because I kind of feel that we might have to implement that at some point though. Would you agree?
Yeah, I do agree on that, because it feels like maybe he need to verify, Google verify that I'm not a robot. That I think we have to ask R to do still human, because look at how he runs and look at how he drives. It's like perfection on perfection. It feels like he is on rails itself, and there's no mistakes coming up. But this time on the back foot, he'll try to go for the catch up. Can he go for that? And look at still on perfection. Lemon Tea does have the lead. He is putting up everything, but oh no!
Is that a good jump? Is that a good jump though? But no, I'm not sure if Lemon Tea actually made it through properly there. But it looks like
it was a reset.
for now R is going. God, it was so sad there. I mean, that trajectory there definitely landed him on the rocks there. So pretty much another mistake here has handed R the lead, and very much so if R's robotic preciseness pretty much comes through yet again on this race here. I'm afraid we may have to call it very soon. Lemon Tea, that looks a little bit awkward though for that jump. He tried to recover it towards the end, but that looks so sketchy. In fact, that actually dropped his speed all the way down to 270, so that's not going to do any favors now for Lemon Tea in his quest now to regain the lead from R.
Yeah, and look at R taking that route, performing the jump and showing Lemon Tea. That's how you do it, and perfection, look at there's no mistakes coming in, and Lemon Tea, he is trying to straight and chain all the skills just to get the nitro and try to close the gap, but look at oh my god, he is so far ahead.
Yeah, no contest whatsoever. This man is pretty much dominating this entire matchup here. Lemon Tea, all he could do right now is just pretty much try to run his best, but R pretty much is dancing his way to that finish line. That is it, ladies and gentlemen, 3-0. I think we have a winner right now, don't we? Ooh, with a magical.
Yeah, we do have a winner, but look at I still can't believe. Second race, perfection's fine. It could be based on the skill, but the third one, wow, that was just clean. Look at how R is playing it. Second race perfection, third race another perfection, capitalizing the opportunity. And look at how Lemon Tea, the way how he approached that ramp, I felt like it was way too fast, and the way he just flew off the map onto the rock was just way too fast for him. He had a great start, he had a great lead, but that one small mistake, that one small trajectory, how you look at it, was just enough for R to capitalize and punish and just make it so clean.
Yeah, no contest whatsoever here, ladies and gentlemen. We have a winner for the iOS platform, so congratulations to R. He pretty much has earned that to sheer display of skill here, ladies and gentlemen. So let's go ahead and have a look at the brackets yet again here, because that first semifinals between R and Okapipo pretty much ended in tragedy there for our Japanese friend. RedZone.exe unfortunately had to take an L on that run there. Lemon Tea had pretty much a good run there to the grand finals, because Sheeta unfortunately couldn't join us for this open finals. So Lemon Tea faced off against R in that grand finals, and R showed his supremacy here, ladies and gentlemen, and took that whole series 3-0. So that pretty much concludes our run here for Asphalt 9 here, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely concludes. Just thinking about it, how R wins the first semi-finals, then move on to the grand finals, and just take it as a walk itself. Maybe R stands for robotic for short form. I will never know, but look at how he performs. I thought Android was a surprising one to look at, because look at how back and forth the game was on the Android side. It was so, there's crashes, there's upsets that happen, but on the iOS side, it was pure perfection from all the players. A bit of mishap for certain players, but looking at the game, we might see there's a difference in skill level from Android to iOS. That's Victor, what do you think between these two platforms?
Honestly, I feel like the top drivers from both platforms are pretty equal to each other. It's just a shame that we wouldn't actually see them fight against each other, because that, I feel, would be a very, very close fight, really. And you know, it's just really the platform itself. It lends it lends a lot of differences. That's why we had to separate it out for this particular open final. And really, I would say there's not really that much of a difference, honestly, between the two, because you know, at the end of the day, they're running through the same maps, they're running through the same cars. It's just a difference of a slight difference of hardware, really, that makes a difference. But honestly, I think if you put these guys on the same exact scenario and platform, they pretty much can go toe to toe against each other.
But talking about that, just a bit of thing that I was thinking. If RPM Aeonian go up against R, who do you have in your mind? Who do you have? They are running at the same platform, same car, no difference anything. It's just pure player versus player. That's the difference between that two.
I think honestly, between the two of those, you might as well flip a coin because both of these guys, they're absolute perfectionists. We saw those. We saw that play itself out in the grand finals. Not even dropping a single bit of their line. Actually, R did drop maybe 1 or 2 bits during his semifinal run. So okay, maybe Aeonian just because of that. So yeah, I don't know. It's just spitballing here.
Definitely, it's like seeing these two might be a fantasy game itself, but I guess that is the end of it. We have crowned an iOS champion, we have crowned an Android champion. This is going to be an eye-opening because I will be jumping in onto Asphalt 9 just to try out what they are trying. Victor, any final words from you?
Not at all. I mean, again, congratulations to our drivers here. We certainly saw some amazing performances here in this Open Finals, but sadly, all good things must come to an event eventually. So again, congratulations to our winners in the Android platform as well as the iOS platform. Specifically, congratulations to Aeonian for taking the grand prize there for the Android side, and R for taking the grand prize for the iOS. So that's going to be the end of our show for now. My name is Victor Cax. Joining me here is Uwe the Magical, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the show here, and we'll like to encourage you guys to like and follow us here. Make sure you guys join us on our next show. So thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one. So bye for now.
Before we jump into the next one, here's a quick reminder for all of you mobile gamers out there. The ESL Mobile Open is just around the corner, so head over to Twitter right now and get all of those details. Tell your friends, build a team, and earn a spot in the finals.
Feel the lights, see the stage, hear the vibe. Pumped up to get ready for the fight. Big dreams, one chance, be the star. I'm the winner coming out of the dark.
Step out as a motivator. Let them know that the weight's up. That's how we know when we level up. Hey, that's how we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up.
Back against the wall, still I'm standing tall. Know about the ball, I got my fan with me. That's how we know when we level up. Yeah, that's how we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up.